So, what we've been doing with all the best intentions over the last few years is trying to keep misinformation from spreading. And the efforts have been some of them have been really awesome and in some ways effective. But here's the problem. If all you're doing is disqualifying people when they don't affirm facts, that doesn't address what's really underneath it all, which is people's concerns. People's concerns about society, people's concerns about their lives, people's concerns about where the country's headed and what issues are going in what direction. That's everything. That's motivating everything. That's at the foundation. So every time that we say, all these people are censored, we're not going to write about this or that, we're not going to cover this or that, we're going to kind of demean and dismiss people who believe this, even though there's a lot of them, we're actually getting farther away from the real work. And the real work is listening to each other's honest concerns. Before we judge them, we have to listen to them. But every time we disqualify people from the conversation because in our view they don't agree with certain facts, or they're spreading misinformation or whatever, we're not only keeping ourselves from the real work, but we're also pushing those people towards spaces that are not going to be particularly diverse in their ideas. Like, every human has to be seen. Every human will be seen and heard, and if we don't see and hear each other, then people will find people who will hear them. They will go online and they will find somebody, and it may not be a very great somebody. And I think we've seen the results of that over and over and over again. It's like, if we leave each other to the jackals, we throw each other to the jackals, really, instead of coming in and listening and suspending our judgment long enough to understand someone else's truth, someone else's story. There's truth beyond facts. Come on, guys. There's truth beyond facts. There's deeper truths. So yeah, I can I got a little emotional there, but no, I really, really think that while it is so well-intentioned, and there's a lot, I think, to love about what we're doing, trying to tamp down misinformation, I would rather live in a culture where, where everybody listened to all the ideas and the good ideas bubbled up, than a culture that has to keep putting walls up all the time. One in another group, here's another group, here's another group. Now there's walls up against 100 groups now, and now it's 20 groups, and now it's 10. I just don't think that's what we're built for. The main thing that I think we need to work on is there's truth, and truth is everything. And as a society, we do have to have a collective search for truth, a conversation that involves all of us. The problem right now is that any conversation that's about the collective search for truth does not involve all of us, because we're so fractured. So we have to get to a collective search for truth. And here's the thing. In order to make sure that that conversation involves all of us, we're going to have to build trust. Building trust is a different process from building truth. Building trust means that you have to listen to someone without correcting them, that you have to hear them behind what you think, what to you is like a straight up lie. You have to listen to them behind that, because you're working on something different. And we're not going to build truth until we build trust. And so that's the other thing about misinformation, is let's not let that get in the way of building trust.
So well said. I mean, we started off this conversation maybe before we started recording by talking about this podcast and the idea of seeing us all as interconnected. And I mean, I love the way that you frame that. The people on the other side, I think we have to trust that they have some knowledge, some wisdom that we're not seeing, almost like we're reflecting each other's blind spots on both sides, and to prioritize and prize this process of trust building versus what we think as truth or as ideas, that reframe is so helpful, is so helpful. So thank you for adding that. Monica, so again, the book is, I never thought of it that way. Where can people find your book? Where can they learn more about you and all of the work that you do?
Yeah, so you can learn more about the book and myself at moniguzman.com or reclaimcuriosity.com. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and all the places at Moni Guzman, MoniGuzman. And I love to hear from people who are into these ideas. So please do reach out.
Fantastic. Thank you again for being here. And thank you so much for being you and all the lovely work that you do.
Thank you, Matthew.